Hello everyone, welcome back to the Droplet series, not a Droplet series, but discussion about droplets, how we are supposed to work with them. In this part 2 of the guide on how you go ahead and create a droplet, have a simple service or a blog setup. In the first part, we discussed how you can go ahead and create a droplet, what are the options you have available, and what are the options which might work best for you. And at the end, what we did, we configured our domain to work with the droplet. But at the end, we were needed to wait for some time so that the changes in the DNS settings can take effect, because usually it takes some time. After some time has already been passed, it is still not taking effect so far, probably because of the existing services which I hosted, and the DNS setting is somehow conflicting it, because I believe that I used to use HTTPS. We will discuss about that in a bit. And the initial service at the beginning is, I guess, hosted on HTTP, or maybe the image somehow is not making the domain to work. So in the last part, we discussed all of these, we connected the domains and everything. So in this part, we will go ahead and set up our WordPress. So if you go and log into your DigitalOcean, you will see in your dummy you have your droplet, and you can copy the IP address you see over here, which is just an identifier, like a phone number for your mobile phone. The same way it's like the IP address for your server. You go to the IP address, and this is what you see. So you can see it says not secure, and now my domain is, I guess, forcing HTTPS, which doesn't exist, and I guess that's why you don't see anything over here. But we will come back to that in a moment. So if you go to the IP address, you see that the droplet says to be created properly, and it detects that it's WordPress image and so on. At the bottom, you can read the WordPress one-click quick start guide for detailed assistance. So we'll go and we'll see what are the instructions. So in the image, this is the image which we installed. You can see these are the things which is already done for you. You don't need to worry about that. Now what you need to do is you need to go to your server through a terminal or a command line if you're on Windows. But in Windows, you will use something called PuTTY. This is available, like it's SSH client for Windows, so you might use that. For Mac, you can just use your regular terminal. So you can see over here it has this command. So you copy it, and you go to your terminal, you put it over here, but you need to delete what you see after @ you go back to your project, you copy the IP address, you put it over here, and now it needs the password which you set in previously. I say yes. What's the password? So this is the password I used while creating my droplet. I'll copy paste that, and I should be inside the server. Okay, there you go. So it's asking for the domain. So my domain is sharik.dev. Hit enter. Then it's asking for email address. Okay, that's sheikhsharik709@gmail.com. Then a username. So in WordPress, you have this username using which you can log in to your backend of your blog system or WordPress. So for now, what I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna say Sharik is gonna be my username, and I'm gonna be saying, okay, this is my password. And the title of the blog, I'm not sure. Developer, maybe something like that, of the year. I don't know. And is that information correct? So let's just review. It's sharik.dev, sheikhsharik709@gmail. It's the Sharik, that's the password. Yeah, that's correct. Now, let's encrypt. This is where SSL comes in. So if you have no idea what HTTP and PS is, basically the S stands for security, and if you just use HTTP, then that is a security issue. HTTPS is a secure way to connect with consumer, your server and stuff. So it just makes sure that you have better security. If you go into technicality, there is a lot of stuff, but I'm assuming you have no idea about any technical background, so I'm just gonna say that it is S stands for security. It adds a layer of security to your domain and the service and the request, all that stuff which happens between. So now what we have here is, it says if you have used managed domain, then you follow all these instructions to set up it. But in our case, okay, sorry, we haven't finished this yet. So would you like to use Let's Encrypt to configure SSL HTTPS for your new site? I would request you always go for HTTPS, and Let's Encrypt is a way for you to get the ability to have HTTPS, which is through something called an SSL certificate. So Let's Encrypt gives you that for free, but in certain situation you might have to pay for SSL, but not in Let's Encrypt. If you use some other services, let's say in GoDaddy, you have the ability to buy an SSL certificate, but in this case I'm just gonna use Let's Encrypt. So I'm gonna say yes, let the Let's Encrypt have an HTTPS ability provided to my system. Again, an email address where it will communicate with you about renewal of your certificate. So certificates are validated, like it's valid for a certain period of time, and as soon as it is very close to complete that time frame or the validity, it will send you an email informing you about it, and then you should be able to renew it from there. So these are the terms and conditions. Yes, I agree with them. I have no other choice. Do you want to share the email? No. What is your preferred way? So my preferred way is, let's just say I just want the domain. I don't really want www, so I choose that domain directly. It's gonna go ahead and try to set up some things. It might fail, but some reason it passes. Okay, and what do you want? Do you want people to always forcefully use HTTPS? Yes, so I'll say redirect. If you choose the other one, in that case, you are not forcing them to use HTTPS. You can have them use HTTPS or HTTP, and that should be completely fine from the user side. But you would always want your users to use the HTTPS version, which is secure as compared to the HTTP. So that's why I chose redirect. So now what do we have here? It says installation is complete. Access your new WordPress site in the browser. So I'm not sure if it still picks up. Yep, it does pick up. So now I have all my WordPress related stuff available over here. I can go to WP admin and let's try the user. So the user was this one, and I guess it's the same password. Yep. So you can see my WordPress is complete, and now from here on you can use any WordPress functionality you want and stuff like that. So all I wanted to do was to show you how you can create a droplet. If you're not a developer, you don't need to worry about it. My part 1 of this video series, I guess you have got an idea about how you can go ahead and set it up. So you don't need a developer, you don't need to hire a developer to set up WordPress and so on. In my perspective, if you set up a WordPress manually by downloading files and doing that stuff, that is a bit more complicated than taking this approach. So all you need is just a little bit of more information, and you should be able to set this thing up by yourself without the need of a developer. So yeah, that is just as simple as that. And when you are done, when you don't need it, or when you just want to destroy it, you just click on destroy. If it's something that's been in production, if people have been using it, you might want to take a snapshot of the system so that you can rebuild it later down the line if you want to. In my case, I don't care about it. I'm just going to go ahead and destroy it. So if you pause your droplet, your billing doesn't stop. If you delete your droplet, your billing does stop. So you are charged on an hourly basis. So far I've been keeping the server up for like 2-3 hours, so I should be charged for 2-3 hours of whatever I have spent. So that is how you use a droplet. I wish I could help you more, but I guess since you are watching on video, I don't have the ability to know who is watching and what issues you have. You can just go ahead and drop a comment, and I'll be sure to let you understand the parts where you have the issue, to help you in any ways possible. And yeah, I guess you have already seen my email address in the videos. If you want to communicate with me, you can use my email address and send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. So yeah, one last thing before we go. In Droplets, this example was using WordPress because that is like, a very very basic thing many people are creating. But if you go to Marketplace, then you should be able to see that there are a lot of different types of images or different types of things you can create with them. So let's see, if there is something like a WordPress, you can search over here, and if you find it, you can just use the same strategy which we use with WordPress on installing that one. See, over here we have blogs and we have forums. So you have WordPress and I don't know. So whatever it is, just search for it, and if it's there, you will find it, install it, and that should be exactly same as what we did. So hopefully it was a very helpful thing for you, and subscribe, like my videos, share with anyone who wants to learn these things. And also I wanted to create more videos on managed database and so on, but I see that DigitalOcean has already created many wonderful videos, short, informative with animation videos, which is much more helpful to you than watching my videos. So I guess you should go to DigitalOcean official channel on YouTube, and there you should see a lot of like managed database and all those kind of services being used. If you want to use certain services, if that service is not available in those videos or any videos or anywhere else, you can drop me an email or maybe a comment in my videos, and I'll see if I can create a video about that. Okay, so thank you so much. Enjoy.